What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another video. We are in the shop today because the weather outside, quite frankly, is garbage. It's raining, it's cold. I don't know where you guys are at, but hoodie season is definitely here. So we're inside the shop. We're gonna be getting some work done on the shorty build, getting into some batteries, getting into some wiring. We will get into all of that, but quick reminder, if you haven't already gotten entered for our latest giveaway, it ends tonight. Tonight is the last and final chance that you have to get entered to win our latest giveaway. It is a G56 3rd Gen 6-speed Cummins. It is beautiful. It is ready to go to you guys with 10 grand as well. So if you haven't already, go check out the website. Go get entered at wrenchworks.com. But today is the final day. So if you've been thinking about it, if you've been on the fence, if you've been waiting for any reason at all, now is it. Time to get in. We'll give you one last look, one last little walk around tour. We'll turn the rock lights on so you guys can see all the powder coat, leather interior. Guys, this thing is absolutely beautiful and it is ready for one of you guys to rip around. Super nice truck, fully built, top to bottom. We got some bronze powder coat throughout the entire thing. We have got this thing looking absolutely beautiful. So make sure you guys go to the website, get entered. You're not gonna wanna miss out. Do yourself a favor, grab some stuff. Every dollar that you spend on wrenchworks.com gets you automatic entries. Every dollar is one entry. So t-shirt, hoodie, they can rack up fast. Make sure you guys go get entered. You're not gonna wanna miss out. So let's get into today's video. If you guys remember where we're at in the shorty build, we went ahead and we re-loomed and we got our entire engine harness looking really, really good. So it's time to move on to powering up this unit, put some batteries in here. I want to showcase what we've got for it, kind of what we're doing that way. If it's something similar that you guys want to do or replicate, hopefully I can give you guys a little bit of knowledge today and with some parts and some pieces. If it's something that can help you guys out if you're getting into it. So really, we've got two batteries. We're still gonna be running two batteries. The biggest thing that we're gonna be doing, and we're not using any of the factory battery cables, factory battery locations, if you guys have been following along, which I've repeated so many times by now. Used to be a battery over here, used to be a battery over here. We're not using any factory battery locations. We've moved the TIP'em to the inside of the cab. I do not want to put batteries out here inside the engine bay. So what we're gonna do is we're going to move the batteries to the inside of the cab. I've seen a lot of guys mount them underneath of the truck, put them in the bed. I'm just not really a huge fan of batteries sitting outside in the beds of trucks or underneath the truck. I think is cool, but being a short bed, we are really like cramped on space. So the regular cabs have this big open tray in the back here that I think would utilize batteries really, really well. Now, batteries inside of vehicles, really not a super uncommon thing in like cars. In trucks, obviously, it is definitely a little bit different. As long as you vent the batteries, I think you're okay. Again, guys, I'm just showing you what we're doing here. Maybe we'll build a cover box in time that kind of like completely encloses them, but really, I didn't want to use the black plastic kind of stuff that people seem to use in like trailers and stuff like that. So the mounts that we're going to be going with are from Tin Soldier race cars. We use them a lot for some of the other race projects that we've got going on, but these are the battery kind of like tray mounts that they make. So we got those from them. These are a Group 78 battery that have the threaded post style because, again, we're going to be making our own battery cables. And I want to show you guys some of that and get into some of that in the first part of the beginning of this video. That way, if you want to make your own battery cables, I'm going to tell you where we got the stuff from, what we're using, and how I'm kind of routing it. Whether I get through all of that in this video, I'm not sure, but I want to give you guys the knowledge. That way, you can go ahead and tackle your projects, right? That's what it's all about. So we've got a Group 78 threaded post style battery here because we're going to be using all of this style end. Obviously not the right size, but you get the idea. We're going to tie these two batteries together and we're going to use this style for everything. We'll make up some battery cables and we'll get rocking and rolling. As far as the brand of battery goes, we really just went down to O'Reilly's and got some of the, right, they have good, better, best, just really some of the best batteries that you can go get at O'Reilly's. I didn't really get anything fancy or crazy for this build. Truthfully, honestly, there are batteries out there that have fancy blue, red, and yellow colors to them, and between me and Michael, we've just never really had super good luck with them for whatever reason. That's why, honestly, we use just the stuff that we can go get serviced really quickly. If a battery has an issue, we just kind of go run down to O'Reilly's and we get it swapped out. But really, we have had far less issues with just normal style batteries. And something for this, I think, is going to be perfectly fine. They do make really nice mounts for that different style of battery, but again, we're just going to go with the old Super Start Extremes from O'Reilly's. Not going to be a big deal. We're going to have no issues at all. So that's kind of like my storyline right there. I just haven't had really good luck with anything else, and normal stuff is completely good. And if it's reliable, then that's a thumbs up in my opinion. So O'Reilly batteries, Superstart Extremes, Tin Soldier race car mounts, and as far as the rest of the electrical supplies, and this kind of goes for a lot of the 05 project stuff that we've done before in the past, some of the wiring, like really high-end pins and connectors and stuff like that. All of that stuff, for the most part, that we've gotten has come from, there's the card. Most of the stuff has all come from this one place, the electrical depot. So hopefully that helps you guys out, but that is where a lot of the supplies came from. So we've got a bunch of battery cable. We've actually got some pass-throughs as well, seeing that we're going from inside the truck to the outside. Got some big cable. We've got all of our ends, and we have got a battery cable crimper. So this right here, there's some information on that. Here's our battery crimper. I actually have not used this a whole lot. We're gonna learn together today, but this has got all the different size on them, and you can kind of see, it's like a push style where if this thing was open, you can kind of move this stuff around, and you've got all the different dies for all the different sizes. And I'll kind of get into that a little bit, but as you can see, V has got some information on here, and that kind of corresponds, if you guys could see it, kind of corresponds to the way that this is labeled. So gonna get into that a little bit, but that's kind of like a generic, long-winded rundown of where this video is starting. Really, if we can power this thing up and get some of this wiring kind of connected up in the cowl and mount our TIP'em underneath the truck, this thing should be ready to fire up here. I don't want to say soon, but it's getting very close. So I'm going to pull out this battery tray that is, well, it's our new battery tray. I'm going to pull out this behind the seat compartment right here, kind of get an idea of mounting stuff outside of here. But let's get into it. Let's mount some batteries first, and then let's get into running some cable and getting into that tool. And we actually, a little side note here, the shorty actually gave us something back for a change besides a whole bunch of problems. It gave us $3, which I found underneath the seat. That's why that's laying there. So let's get into it, boys. Well, I'm pretty sure that it's literally just those three little screws that hold this entire thing in. Yep. All right, so taking a look at this behind the seat storage compartment here, I was honestly a little worried about the amount of support underneath of this to be able to hold the weight of two batteries. Last thing I want to do is just have this thing be flimsy and crack. It looks like this depth right here is actually the distance between the bottom of this plastic and the actual floor of the cab. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is wherever I mount these batteries on here, I'm just going to make some spacer, some riser plate out of, I don't know, either metal or wood, just some type of support underneath the battery so it can sit directly on the floor. That way, you know, over time, this isn't what's actually supporting it, because it looks like these little stands are really all the support. So that's not going to be enough. We'll go ahead and engineer something there. Where I'm at on this thing is I'm going to take this mount. I really want to put these like right in the corners. So I think I might need to do a little trimming on these little plastic little bumps where it looks like it might have been designed to hold Timmy the Toolbox or something like that. So I think I'm gonna put them like that, maybe like this. Just need to spend a little bit of time figuring out how these wires are going to run, because we're going to need to go through here, and we're also going to need to go through the cab, and I'm going to try to run the wires so they are underneath, go down underneath there, either with those pass-throughs, with a grommet, something like that. That way we can kind of keep everything a little nice and hidden, right? That's the whole point of trying to do all of this. We're trying to make it look or appear as if you don't really see anything, and try and make it look cosmetically really nice. We're back inside the truck. Quick little layout explanation. They're not going to really work the other way, just because when you put the seat all the way back, I want to make sure we're far enough away, that way we're not really getting into any part of the seats or anything like that. So this orientation right here, front to back, side to side, is where we're going to kind of land. And again, they're not sitting flush because of those little bumps in the plastic, but we're going to go with everything kind of sitting just like this, and I think we'll be in good shape, and we'll be on the flat part of the cab there. That way they can be supported really well. The other part of these mounts that I like is the fact that they're raw. We'll be able to kind of like powder coat them, make them look really nice. To catch up a little bit, and again, I know this is probably just a little bit more informative and me talking, not really because I don't want to show doing the work, but a lot of times the planning and the information 100% take the longest, right? Coming down to the details. So let me show you where we're at and what we've got and the way that I'm going to do it. And that is really the most important piece of knowledge that I can give you guys on how I'm going to do it. And then really, then it's just down to me actually doing it. But spend some time planning it out, marking it out. Here are the batteries in the tray, back in the truck, with some bolts in there. And what I'm going to end up doing is let me put this light down here. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to drill a hole right here, and I'm going to drill a hole right here. That way it kind of looks symmetrical, and I'm going to run the positives and the negatives down together, kind of. Here's the negative, that'll end up going down to here. This positive down to this positive will end up going down to this hole right here. And that will be on really the most accessible part of the cab underneath. So there is some stuff that needs to stay inside the cab and that needs to come outside of the cab. And that's where these pass-throughs that we got from same place are gonna come into play in trying to get wiring outside of the vehicle as nicely as possible. Let's put it that way. So seeing that the TIPM is gonna be inside underneath here in the dash, that is a wire that's going to stay inside the cab. And then say the body ground for the body, you can end up using a seatbelt bolt kind of inside here underneath. So I'm going to utilize that. But let me go over the list of really the essential wires that are going to be taking place here. I've got a list here. So we've got the battery to the chassis, we've got the battery to the body, and then the chassis to the engine. And you could also end up doing, I mean, grounds, you can do, you can't go wrong with more grounds, right? More grounds, the better. Those are the big ones. battery to engine, just so on and so forth, right? So the power wires, we need to go from the battery to the starter. We need to go from the battery to the TIP'em, which is the one inside, and then really battery to the alternator. I know some people will go from the starter to the alternator, but again, that's all stuff that needs to get run to the engine underneath the truck. Let me show you where we're going to kind of try to put these pass-throughs, because that's been the biggest part of the challenge upcoming next. So wanted to try and mock that stuff up and get these pass-throughs done in here. And where we're gonna go is basically, if I could put this right, that tray is kind of resting like right here. So I'm gonna put these right on this back side of the cab right here. And that is essentially gonna be right behind right here. So I need to drill through the cab, mount those, and then that's gonna allow us to kind of run power from inside to the outside instead of just drilling a hole straight through it. We'll have some disconnects, stuff like that, which will make it a lot nicer. We can kind of utilize some of those holes right there for the chassis ground. Again, body ground we can kind of hide inside. And the engine stuff will kind of be very similar to a factory engine, where you guys would normally see a negative battery cable kind of come down, hit right here on the frame, hits up here on the engine with that bolt right here, right in front of the ECM on that stud. Now, some of the supplies, some of the stuff that I got, here are the pass-throughs that I'm talking about. Nice solid core here, if my camera would ever focus. There you go. We will put that through the cab. That way you have a solid connection on the inside and the outside. Time for a little example installing a crimp-on end with this red 2/0 wire and the appropriate size end here. Now, getting the ends appropriate to kind of like the wire that you're buying is pretty easy. It's 2/0 end. If it's a 4 gauge, usually you kind of see right here, like this will have a 4 right there for 4 gauge. Kind of got a 2/0/0 for the 2/0. Pretty easy, not that big a deal to kind of get the right ends to the right wire. Now, using the crimping tool is a little bit of a science. We're lacking some of the labeling on these ends. It might get a little bit trickier, but if you see up here, you got A-C ORG, probably stands for orange, or just ORG, whatever that means. Again, not a scientist over here. Anyway, this color is orange, and it says A through C here. So you can kind of see some markings on this tool. You can look at the arrows. This is the setting right here, 70 ORG. Also has this really nice gauge on it depending on what kind of terminals you're using and the size that you've got. So right here, go down to 2. Our labels are not pink. It does not say 30, but it does say orange and 70, orange 70. You got orange, you got A through C, and you can kind of line that up with this right here. So this is going to go in there, and then we're going to get that crimped up. But just so you guys kind of understand on how this tool works and the settings that are through here and through these dials, because there is quite a few, again, depending on the wire that you're doing, this crimping tool can kind of do all of these, and it'll give you the cheat sheet on what settings need to be here, even if your terminal ends do not have all of those markings, which I believe the nice ones all do. All the ones that we've been getting from that company do, but you can kind of see they've got some different colors. J through H gray, 4 gauge. Let's just do 4. So right here, gray 25, that'd be gray 25. Let's go through here, and you can kind of see there's green, pink, all sorts of different. There we go, gray 25, boom. And then you would end up doing this one over here in the same way, and you would see right here, gray 25, that'd be for 4 gauge. Again, 4 gauge right here, gray 25, boom, 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 we'd be good. And then you would go ahead and stick that one right in here, crimp that down. It's got 2 different lines, which some are single crimp and some are double. Looks like these are double. We'll go ahead and put these right in between those lines, and we should be right on the money. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut this wire back right here to about, say, right there with just a blade. We'll shove this on. We'll do that real quick. That way you guys can kind of see it in action. There she is. There you have it. Give her the old she ain't going nowhere. What we'll probably end up doing is you can actually kind of heat this end up, I would say with like a little torch or so, and then you can actually put some solder down in there and fill that all the way up. That way, fill it with solder. She really ain't going nowhere, but double crimped and she's good to go. Again, finishing touches, which we don't have this cut to length or ready to go in the truck. I really just wanted to show you guys kind of that assembly and give you guys the process. If you're looking to kind of make your own battery cables and mount some battery stuff like that. But again, we will use obviously bigger size, but we'll wrap some black stuff in the black wire in this Alex Tech. We'll probably leave some of this red exposed to where you can see it and maybe wrap some of it in Alex Tech. I don't have all of it figured out, but imagine that wrapped up and then heat shrink, you know, kind of covering right where we crimped up to about here. Get the good stuff with the glue. Again, it'll be bigger size, and then if you want to wrap it to hide the red, that'll make it look really, really good too as well. But there you have it. Hopefully that information is super useful to you guys. Unfortunately, we're pretty much running out of time for this evening, but I want to get this video up. I want to give you guys that information. Full video on kind of getting the truck fired up and running will probably be in the next video, where we can breeze through the wiring completely, show you guys all of that, show me actually working, because I know you guys want to see that, but I want to get the information out. That way you have the technical side of it too, not just me working. But hopefully in the next video, we will have this thing wired up and fired up. So I'm really excited for that. Guys, if you haven't heard me say it enough, this is it. This is the last time that I am going to say it, besides saying thank you for entering. Go get entered in this beast of a truck. It is ending tonight. That's it. Last chance. You guys already know what to do. Go to the website, support your boys, support the channel. Appreciate you guys so much. We will see you guys in the next video very, very soon. But it's the last time that you're gonna have the opportunity to get entered to win that truck plus the 10 grand. See you guys in the next video. See ya.